Hi, folks. Tom Johnson Medlin here. I am bringing you a fourth in our series on the journaling class. We decided to add a fourth one because there was a piece that we use fairly often that revolves around journaling, but in its own very specific fashion, and that is for dream work and the use of dreams, not only nighttime dreams, because at night when we sleep, or in the day, if we happen to be sleeping during the day, we may be having dreams. But our lives also have these other portions that are known as dreams, which are our hopes and our dreams, right? And so remembering the process that we've engaged in from the first class through the second and third, now we're going to engage in that process again in the fourth. We're going to try to bring material out from our inside, get it onto the journal, get it into those pages so that we can then begin to take a look at who we are and not only put that information out of us, right, but also then digest it when we look back into the journal and discover what we are composing, and in particular, what we are composing concerning dreams, right? Not only dreams of night and sleep, right, but hopes and dreams in our lives, okay? So we're going to take a look at a couple of questions that you may want to utilize in the process of analyzing your dreams. And for that, I'm going to share an image of the article that we're going to attach here for this specific class, and that is I Dreamed a Dream. And this was a piece that I wrote a number of years ago to fit into a series I was writing on formation and direction with chaplains in hospice at end of life with their patients. So this piece also nicely fits into our journaling class. And so again, we're going to utilize that. So there's a few ways to approach taking our nighttime dreams, or our sleepful dreams, as we may want to call them, and also our daytime hopes and dreams, and taking a look at them through journal format. I think one of the things that many of us will remember happening at some point in life, if not many times, at least a handful, when we wake in the morning or after sleeping, we have these very small, very faint, very thread-like images attached to our minds or to our hearts or to our souls that are left, the remnants left from that sleepful dream that occurred. You know, we may wake up feeling distressed because it was more of a nightmare than it was a dream, right? Or we may wake up feeling connected because we saw someone that we haven't seen in a long time, someone who maybe is dead or has moved away and is no longer in our life. But that seeing, that being with the person has filled us with a sense of hope, a sense of connectedness and community or love and affection, right? We may then also not be able to exactly identify what it was in our dream that has left the remnant of emotion in us in the morning. So we may wake up feeling wonderful and say, oh, I wish I could remember what it was that felt so very good that I dreamed about, you know, or what it was that that person said to me in the dream that gave me such hope or caused me consternation, or, you know, whatever the emotion may be, whatever the event or activity may be. But we all have memory of an experience with waking and not being able to fully retrieve the pieces of what we have just experienced. And so the further it goes in the day, most often we tend to have a fading of those impressions or the intensity of what was left behind as a remnant. We're not able to really muster any more of it. We actually forget it as time goes on. However, there are times, and again, not a lot perhaps, but often enough to be able to say, yes, that has happened to me. There are times that when we sit with these images, just the little fragments that we have, sometimes they grow back into the stained glass window of impression that they are meant to be, you know, or that they originally had with us in our life. So we'll often call them like gossamer strings or gossamer threads that tie us to our sleepful life. I don't think it's any different really with our hopes and our dreams, our aspirations. we may have hopes and dreams in life to do something, and they become so strong and so intense that our whole character of being revolves around them. Like maybe our big hope and dream is to go and visit some place on Earth, a particular place, a volcano, let's say a Hawaiian volcano, or perhaps an atoll, one of the islands that Darwin went to that was a volcanic reef, that's left and has all these very unique and special environmental features. Or maybe it's to see a loved one who has moved very far away and we just long to be there. These hopes and dreams and desires, they drive us at different portions of our life with different levels of intensity. But even when they're at their weakest, the remnants or these gossamer threads of the drive that those hopes and dreams have planted in us, those drives actually feed who we are and change us and make us different people. You know what I'm talking about when I say a person whose hopes and dreams have been dashed is somebody that you can clearly identify as someone no longer who holds their head up in life, no longer seems that there is a motivation behind their daily existence and their time that they spend here on this earth place. So there's a focus that changes because their hopes and dreams have been dashed. Excuse me if you hear any background noise, my dog is sneezing. So what I'd like to do is take a look at some of the questions that emerge in this article that are good for us to posit in our thinking or to utilize as prompts with our journals as we are going ahead and identifying what it is we want them to do for us. So let me just make sure I've got the right share up here for you because I just clicked the wrong button. There we go. Okay. All right, so if you take a look at this article, which will be attached to this video and or you can receive from your hospice staff person who has presented this video to you, they will also have access to it. Or if you're working with an end-of-life doula, they'll also have access to it. But let's first take a look at one of the options that's listed in the article, and that is first you can just chronologically go through the dream in your heart and in your mind, go, trace back what you remember, and just kind of do a real quick sketch of what happened in the dream. Like at first I saw B and she was very radiant and standing on the shore watching the ocean. Then she turned to me and said, just chronologically go through the dream and write out each of the things that happened, each of the things that maybe somebody said, or each of the impressions that you got as you went through that portion of the dream. And then you can look back at it almost as if it's a drama itself, right? So start at the beginning and move sequentially through it. And then you might go back, when that's all encapsulated, go back and read it from beginning to end. And as you do this second pass through the story, ask yourself these questions, okay? So again, you're going to chronologically, sequentially write down what you remember and felt and heard and tasted, all the senses that you can add to that. And then you're going to go back and reread it, asking yourself these questions. Does any of this seem to make sense of something else in my life? Does what I am looking at in this dream or what I've just experienced in this drama I've read, does it really shed any light on anything else in my life and make it much more clear, right? Or do these snapshots of drama that I see in this dream that I've written out, do they mean anything to me? Are these things symbols for feelings or beliefs and hopes that I've just laid out in front of me? So, in your dream, if you're seeing things, are they really that thing you're seeing, or are they symbols? And if you go on to read the full article here, you'll begin to see exactly what I mean by that. I relate a story that I had in which I saw a grizzly bear in the dream, and a series of incidents occurred where at the end, after I had written the dream down and put sequentially from beginning to end everything that was going on, it helped me realize that I was trying to process some larger, deeper images of things that were going on in our personal life when we were actually losing our dog, and the emotion of having to put our dog to sleep was so large and so grisly in our lives that it really took center stage in this dream. You can see a little bit more about that if you read the rest of the article. But are there things in your dream? Are there images that are in there that represent something else? They're symbols. They are signposts to other things. Okay. How does this make me feel? Right? How does this entire thing make me feel? When I first woke up, what was the impression that I was left with? Was it a good taste in my mouth, a bad taste in my mouth? Was it a fond remembrance of hopes and dreams throughout the vision that I had in my sleep? Or were they frantic and filled with anxiety and trying to, get that phys ed class done in high school so you could graduate? What was it that you essentially felt, right? And does this feeling speak to where you are, where I am at this point in our life? So when you process that feeling that was in the dream, or process the thing that is provoked by the dream, is it speaking directly to where you are right now? And what great teachings do you maybe see in the content? Like, are there foreshadows of things that you have believed your whole life, or are they examples of things that you have believed your whole life? Are they hidden in that dream? So I think that's really an important way to digest some of the material that we have in our sleepful dreams, is to look at them as if they're a drama, which is again what we've told ourselves throughout this journaling process. Is we're going to read our journal as if it's someone else's and ask a series of questions to get a sense of taking the pulse or getting a litmus test to find out where we are at that moment when we have put down on paper in the journal the things that we've put down. Because if you remember back to that passage from the 1948 find in the Qumran desert in the Gospel of Thomas, it said, if you bring forth that which is within you, it will set you free. But if you do not bring forth those things that are within you, then those things will actually destroy you. And that is really, to be honest with you, that is the greatest metaphor seen for what is going on in the whole dream process. And if you remember earlier on, I talked about the entirety of therapeutic processing really being related to that. And I believe that as well. I think that, the dream and the dream journal is a perfect example of everything and its content that can be utilized to help us grow and to digest and to be nourished on who we are as individuals throughout our entire life. But the therapeutic process is taking that what's in here, taking it out, taking a look at it, and then interpreting life based on that. So again, this is if you're going to use your sleepful dreams, but you can also write out the same for your hopes and your dreams that you have for your life or other portions of people's lives who interface with you. And then go back and ask these same questions. These hopes and dreams, do they have anything to tell you about yourself? Do they relate to any great teachings or understandings in life? And any of the 5 or 6 questions that we've applied to that. So I hope you find this article as valuable to read as I found it valuable to write. I hope that you're able to utilize it essentially immediately on a dream that you've had either last night or perhaps maybe tonight that you're going to have, that you're going to be able to write out and then be able to delve into and see what it has to offer you, an opening in your own life for where you are now and maybe a direction in which you need to go. So thank you for your time, and I hope, like I said, that this is as meaningful for you as it has been for me.